So they've done it again. Not even 3 months after the initial release of the Spyders ET putter, and there's already a load of knockoff versions flooding the Chinese websites. Well, that was until they all sold out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Yes, it was inevitable that this was going to happen. And actually the first place where I saw it was on eBay of all places. But they didn't actually list it as a fake putter. We only have to take a look at the listing to realise that it's definitely not a genuine one. I mean, the account where they're selling it don't actually sell golf stuff. I couldn't see any reviews from a golf product. But it is all positive feedback, so that kind of makes you feel a bit better about that. I've actually ordered a few fake putters in the past. I've had a few lab ones. Some which were pretty much an identical replica and some which didn't resemble the lab putter at all. And this spider is supposedly going to take about 3 weeks to arrive, so we'll just have to wait and see what turns up, let alone if it looks anything like a putter. Right, so the day is here and it has finally arrived. It was pretty much bang on 3 weeks since I ordered it. I've got to say actually, on first impressions, this does look pretty good and probably better than what I was expecting. Especially given that there wasn't any pictures of it, it could have turned up looking like anything. There are a few obvious dead giveaways straight away that it's not real. The face insert is probably the biggest giveaway. I mean, the text doesn't even match the text on the proper one. And some of the paint on the webbing under the sole on the fake one isn't quite right. Like it's kind of just leaked out of the spider and onto the side. It just looks like it was a bad job, to be fair. But I mean, from a dress, I'll be honest, it looks pretty much identical. The shaft and grip look pretty darn good. The shaft is steel though compared to like a real one where you're getting graphite. The head cover as well is almost there, but again you can tell it's not real, and the magnets don't really sit in the right place, so it kind of folds over at a bit of an awkward angle. But let's get it down to the course and we'll have a go of it and see what it's properly like out on the greens. Alright, so it's going to be my very first putt with it. I've not hit any other putts yet so far today at all actually. And we're going to start things off with pretty much a 30 footer. So obviously Taylormade put a lot of emphasis on their pure roll insert, and with it being quite different, I do want to see how it compares in long distance. Not a bad first attempt. I mean, yeah, you can't really argue with either of them. Definitely comes off with a bit of a ping to it. I thought, as expected, the face didn't feel quite as soft as the actual one. Weighting and everything about it feels pretty good. The grip feels quite nice, but you can tell it's not a proper super stroke, like it's a bit more sticky. I mean, it did the most important thing, and it put the ball into the hole twice. I think it's worth noting the greens are a bit sandy and they're not really rolling at the best at the minute. Now, I did spend quite a bit of time on this green alone, and I was holding quite a few putts with it. It was feeling pretty stable, it was feeling pretty good, and the pace control, even with the dodgy insert, wasn't really appearing to be an issue. The feel and the sound just doesn't quite sound right in it though, so I do want to try and do something about that. So my plan initially was to change a few of the key features on both the original putter and the fake knockoff one, just to try and match them up as close to each other as I possibly could. But of course, as usual, I did run into a few issues when trying to do this. So I wanted to swap the inserts out, as that's pretty much the main difference between the two, so I thought if I could get them the same, then it might actually feel very similar. So I do have some carbon 3D printed ones that I could have used in them. However, when I tried to remove it from the fake one, it turned out that there wasn't actually an insert there. And it's basically just been cut out on the face to give the illusion that there's an insert and then painted over the top, which would explain why it does have a bit of a different feel and it comes off with a bit of a ping to it. The second issue I ran into then was that I was trying to get the weight up in the fake one to the same as the counterbalance actual head that I have. And the fake was actually weighing about right for what Taylormade say it should weigh as a standard head. So I was going to add some weight in various different ways, but I wanted to take the sole plate off and add some underneath that so it's like inside the head. But when I was taking the middle screw out, which is actually pretty much holding it in place, the screw port actually broke off, so it won't even stay in place now. But what's interesting about that is that I wasn't actually expecting that screw to come out, or the other two. I had a fake lab putter from the same place, and those screws were actually glued in and locked into place. I can still get the sole plate to stay in place with just a bit of glue on the inside, and then maybe just add some tape over the screw, so it's not the end of the world, to be fair. It's just not ideal. Now, when I was taking these weights out, I noticed something quite strange actually. If you notice on the real one, I already knew they were there, but there's like some weird cracks under where the weights go. And it's in the same position on both sides. I thought it might have just been a one-off, like slip through quality control type thing, but this fake one actually has them in the same place as well, which does seem rather strange to me. After getting the two heads weighing exactly the same, I decided to put two of the exact same shafts in as well, with also two of the exact same grips. I did actually take the insert out of the actual head. When I was heating the shaft out, I did melt it slightly, which is why it does look slightly disfigured. So basically now they're exactly the same other than the inserts. So let's see now how they compare directly side by side. So I'm just going to have a bit of a competition between the two. So I'm going to have 10 with the fake one, 10 with the real one from 6 foot. And then 10 with the real one and 10 with the fake one from 15 foot, and then we'll go a bit further back and do some lag puts with it as well. I genuinely I can't remember if this is the real one or the fake one I'm hitting. It's the fake one. Yeah, so with that carbon insert now in the actual head, I was really struggling to tell the difference between the two. The feel was fairly similar. I mean, if you're comparing them one after the other, then you could probably still tell the difference. Well, can't complain with that. Alright, let's try the real one now then. Seems to be going a bit to the left more. I feel like I'm going to miss one to the left, but for some reason it just feels a bit better. Made sure that wasn't going left. I was somewhat surprised here at how many of these were going in, given the weather conditions, and given that these are two putters that I've not really used before. That would have gone in, but it hit the other ball. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. They both were working just as good as each other, but I definitely felt like I just had a bit more confidence in the real one. Just not really sure why. So I think above anything, that just shows how good the shape of the Spider putter is. I mean, it does suit my eye quite nicely. Maybe the benefits of zero torque as well. I'm going to go from 15 foot now, try it again. I'm going to start with the real one this time. Bad start. I was feeling like I could have holed every single putt that I hit. Now normally I'm not one for blaming greens, but this is a practice green, and it was just seeming to be maybe a bit inconsistent. Like some that I thought were going to break just stayed pretty straight, and some of them even moved the opposite way to some of the others, however that works. I don't know if you can count that really or not, but that's not a bad effort. 4 out of 10. Let's try it now with the fake one. Just going to dry the grip again. Luckily the rain had finally stopped. It only lasted for like 10 minutes or so, but I did get absolutely drenched, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't helping my putting at all. That was probably the worst putt of it, yeah. The same couldn't be said about the fake one though. The balance of it just didn't feel quite as good as the real one. It was marginal, but I was just feeling like I couldn't quite get the pace and the line matched up quite right. I just can't get it in. As we saw, it was working well at 6 foot. I mean, pace isn't really a factor from that distance, so you'd have to put that down to the insert. That's the only explanation I can really see, is that I was just struggling to get the pace because the insert isn't even an actual insert. Just something about it I didn't quite feel right, and it just felt a bit more difficult to get the right pace on it. Yeah, good one, mate. It's not like we just covered all that. So I was going to try some lag puts, but as you can probably see, it went dark quite quickly, so it wasn't really the best of times to do it. Instead, I wanted to take it out for a few holes, so I put the original shaft and grip back on it with the original weight, and I went out and played 9 holes with it. So I hit 2 putts during the 9 holes, which maybe went a bit too far past the hole than what I would have liked. They were in the first few holes when I was still getting used to the pace of the greens, and when I did get used to that along with the putter, I was actually getting the speed pretty well. Some of the breaks on the front 9 here at Mulligan's Bank are quite severe, so getting the pace is sometimes a bit tricky, and this fake Spider seems to be doing a pretty steady job, I'm not gonna lie. I was however still not holing anything, and I didn't know if it was just me on the day, so I was having a few putts with my Cantic at the same time, and I was draining a couple of putts with that in different spots on the green. But on the other hand, that is an arm lock putter, which is what I am used to, and I do normally struggle with normal sized ones, so it was actually quite surprising that I was putting fairly well with this standard size Spider, even if nothing was actually dropping for me. But inside 6 feet, everything was just straight in the middle. Maybe the worst part about this Spider is that it does give a horrible ping off the face when you hit it. If someone couldn't tell that it was fake by looking at it, they definitely could by hearing the sound off the face. Now for anyone wondering, I did try this in the torque finder that I have when it was straight out of the box, and when I started using it, it was actually staying pretty stable. After not too long, the screw came a bit loose in the grip, so it kept slipping out and wouldn't really work properly. But when it was working, I'd probably say it was similar to like what you see with the Odyssey. There was maybe a fraction bit of movement there, but you see a bit more as you start swinging it a bit faster. So to summarise really then, I would have to say that there are definitely better copies out there than this one currently. The main thing is I think they're just struggling to make a copy of the insert. I mean, this is the first copy that I saw, so I think they will probably end up making some improvements on this. But I'd also probably have to say that paying north of £200 with the delivery is probably a bit too much for a copy, really. And then on top of that, the most important thing is you'd be able to sell a real one in the future, whereas you don't really want to be selling a fake. And I mean, for me, I couldn't actually use a fake club. Like, I'd be doubting it all the time, just thinking that it's not good because it's not the real thing. And you know what happens as soon as you start doubting yourself, you're going to start missing puts. But on top of that, and something that you might not have thought about and would probably be the deciding factor for a lot of people, is that with any replica, you can't actually use them in competition. So if you got caught with one of these in a competition, you would get disqualified. So I've done a Lab DF3 previously. The next one on the list is the Bettinardi Antidote, so stay posted for that. I might do a video comparing all of them together. I've also got a Mez and I've got an Oz on the way from someone as well. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing a big comparison between them all. But as usual, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.